bit behind, a daily Harmon. Yeah, so I did send off the motion for reconsideration, so I'll post a link down there. Yeah, it's not as well written as I'd like it to be. I'm in a weird state, so it's difficult to. It was really difficult just to stop from saying something, just plain out fucking rude. I know what you're doing, you fucking bitch. I know what you're doing. I can see the wheels, the little gears turning in your fucking head. It's quite obvious what you did here. So let's just, for the sake of fun, let's just redo it again, what happened here. Alright, so she got all bent out of shape because of the Hittner thing. And she even, it's in the papers. I mean, she references it as if that's some sort of crime against humanity, that I made a video being a bit outraged about having my constitutional rights destroyed. And like I don't have a right to get pissed off. But anyway, especially when they were destroyed, illegitimately. And I had to go to an appeals court. And then the judge was going to violate the order of the appeals court. And that's what was taking place. The very thing the appeals court said you can't do, the judge was going to do it again. And I'm supposed to just sit back and say, yeah, fine, go ahead. No, of course not. I'm going to be substantially irritated by this prospect. So anyway, and then, that's sort of the context here. And let's remember, too, Jones still hasn't paid me the $455 he owes me, and so I don't know, like the simple truth is when I eventually get a court order for you to pay me the money, you're going to have to pay for somebody to extract the money from you, and you're going to have to pay interest and all that crap. So delaying isn't going to get you out of it. I mean, I'll sue your estate. I'll sue whatever it takes. Fucker. I mean, you played the game. I put up the money, and you played the game, and you lost that round. You got to pay your dues, fucker. But anyway, so then we go through this stupid process, and this judge won't. None of these judges, we had the 3 minutes with Hittner, but they won't allow the case to be heard. They won't allow me to defend my litigation in the manner that's routinely done in a hearing, where the judge is the moderator, and you proceed to progress the case through the process, and they just won't let that happen. And so this judge did basically the same thing Hittner did, except she just came up with a new excuse. So now the excuse was, by exercising my First Amendment rights in a perfectly honest and legitimate manner, that I should, be sanctioned to have to go to Texas. So let's say if I could actually do it, I would be paying thousands of dollars, to participate in a hearing that's routinely done by phone, and that would be unacceptable to the court. That's an acceptable thing to do to litigants, is to impose thousands of dollars worth of burden because they exercise their own rights on their own time. But anyway, that's a whole side issue. But let's just remember, that's what she did, though. And she basically just ignored the fact. Okay, I mean, there's 2,000 miles. Just ain't going to happen. I haven't gone 5 miles in a lot of years. So 2,000 is just totally unreasonable, and she knows that. She's perfectly aware of that fact. She knows what she knows what a disability is. Let's not pretend here. So anyway, so when she said basically I have to go to Texas for this hearing that's routinely done by telephone, again, the case is over already. So she didn't even need to do this dismissal thing, because she had already de facto dismissed the case. And so, but she couldn't do it that way. She knew that, because that's exactly what Hittner did, tried to do twice. She knew that wasn't going to work. That's not going to fly. So she had to come up with something else. And so she dug up a 17-month-old motion and decided to act on it in a completely excessive way, a way that just can't be justified. There's all kinds of Supreme Court statements saying you don't do it this way. You have to do this. You have to meet this standard. You have to go. You have to just even in the interest of justice, you don't kill somebody's claim without being damn sure of what you're doing, just in the interest of justice. And then when it's a pro se plaintiff, you just can't do it. You just can't sit there and use technicalities and beat them over the head with them. And I'd argue she's not even doing that, because she hasn't made any articulate noises explaining exactly what Joneser is not aware of. So let's also argue that a little bit. The issue is that there's some claim by the defendants that they don't know what the issues are. You've seen them make the videos. You've heard them yell and scream, "It's fair use, it's fair use." They certainly know what the issue is. All right? It's not that complicated. There's a simple thing that has to take place. To understand the DMCA, you need a clear definition of what fair use is. So that's one objective we're after. The other objective is a definition of what constitutes libel and slander in the digital age. And that's it. It's not that complicated. And all these assholes know what it is. Joneser knows exactly what he did in his videos. He made them. He knows exactly what he said in his comments. And he knows how casually people were throwing the word anti-Semite out and Holocaust denier and all this other rhetoric. And he thinks that's what his anonymous right is as a character. Because he's not a person when he's on the internet. He's just a character. An anonymous character that can do whatever the fuck they want. And it doesn't hurt anybody. It doesn't harm them in any way. And he has perfect liberty to do whatever the hell he wants on the internet. And that's his philosophy. And that's what's at issue, is that there's an argument between two different philosophies on what life is. The trolls think life is one thing, and the non-trolls think it's something else. That you have to have a little bit of integrity. And you have to be willing to be accountable for what you do in the world. You can't just keep hiding, throwing rocks and hiding behind rocks. You got to live somewhere out in the open once in a while and be a real fucking human being, not a coward and a criminal. But anyway, so this isn't complicated, and so she's just using this canard, this idea that somehow there's some confusion about whether or not it harms somebody when you call them a Holocaust denier. That somehow I have to articulate that harm before we can proceed with the case, which is completely ludicrous. In all legal cases, if there's an issue of law, especially a law like the copyright law, which has a fine built into it already, so it already has a penalty just for violating the law, if the court so just chooses to use it, you don't need to describe any harm it did you. All you need to do is say it's a violation of the law, of your rights. I would almost argue that the same is true for defamation. It's automatically, if you are been convicted of degrading somebody's public image or character, there's already automatically some kind of sense of damage built into that. I mean, you really don't need to show the blood spilling out of your heart. But even if you did, let's say that argument was true, first you establish whether the crime has been committed, then you establish what the penalty is for the crime. They call that a penalty phase. So yeah, I mean the first phase is the law broken? Because you don't want to waste a whole bunch of time arguing about what the penalty is going to be when there might not be any crime. That would be idiotic, ludicrous, stupid. So, like I said, they're just playing games here. It's quite obvious to any reasonable, fair person, and that's not what judges should be doing. And I've seen them do it before, federal judges. I've seen it, and I don't know how these creatures. Well, I know how. It's because they're lawyers. Like I said, lawyers. I don't know what happens at law school, but something really bad happens to people, or else it's just bad people who end up going there. But people turn into real assholes. And to make a living as a lawyer, you have to be willing to do some shit, You're not going to make money defending honest people. You're going to make money defending dishonest people. So it's a real shitty job. And that's just the truth. I mean, if you plan on making a living doing it, you're not going to have any fucking fun if you're an honest person. And I guess that's part of the problem, is the scumbags are the only ones thriving in the legal profession, and they end up on a court. So I think that's a problem we got to fix. Maybe we just have a judge school. And you don't bother doing the lawyer thing first. You don't bother doing the lying scumbag thing first. You just go to school for a couple of years to learn case law. And how to iron a robe or something. How to sit up straight behind your big old desk. But anyway, so that's probably enough of a video. It's probably too much of a video actually, but we'll see. So anyway, that's today's stuff. I'm sorry, I'm just having it, just physically a little off, and it's really making life tough. Gotta figure out what this, equilibrium problem is. Anyway, till next time.